As you can see, we came out here today to a very beautiful place. The weather is extremely nice as well. And we're basically going to do a very extreme fuel run because fuel prices have been rising like crazy these days. And luckily we live fairly close to Luxembourg, where fuel prices are the cheapest in our neighboring countries. And we decided to just meet up after work, and with we I mean Antoine and I. Antoine is driving the Corsa. We decided to meet up today after work and do basically a cross-country road trip to the north of Luxembourg to fill up our cars and just have a lot of fun driving. So I'm going to put the GoPro on my head to get a few POV shots of me driving the MGB, and yeah, before it gets too late, let's just leave and head to the north of Luxembourg. So first things first, we need to get off of this farmer's road. This is basically, we were basically forbidden to come here, but yeah, well, it's fine. But yeah, the first few kilometers are going to be quite bad, but then we should get a lot better roads. I really can't get over how good this car sounds. Like, today will be a good opportunity to really talk about the MG for a bit and give you like a proper feel for how it drives and how it handles on these tight roads, because it's actually a pretty cool car, to be honest. So nice out here, really cool. I think it's fun that in Belgium we still have like 8 places to go to whenever we want like a really good drive. You can always come to the Ardennes and just have, yeah, a ton of fun driving cars. Just look at how nice this looks, dude. We've got a house on the left here, a farm with the hill in the distance, and now we've got a deer on the road. Or a fox, that looks like a fox. Okay, that's pretty fun. He was nice. That was pretty cool. How does the MGB actually drive? And this is my honest opinion, but I think this is a fantastic driver's car. Like, the shifter is extremely tactile. It feels very good. It's also a pretty short, like, movement that you have to make. It's a pretty short shifter. And the steering wheel is extremely direct. It's extremely sharp. You can see, like, we have to barely touch it or it's already making or doing like a very big move in the car. I'll be honest, it's not the fastest car. It's got like 95 brake horsepower, which isn't the most, but overall it's definitely enough to have some fun. Like, I use this car not for like any big road trips, but I use it for a lot of local driving. And if you're doing that, it's pretty much perfect. Like, I wouldn't take this car to the Alps because that's, yeah, it's not really made for that. It would go, obviously, it would be able to do the mountain roads and everything, but it would definitely not be as much fun as, for example, a Porsche 911 with a lot more power. So I would say the MGB is a very fun car to drive. I haven't really driven a lot of cars that are as much fun of a drive as this one, just because it sounds very nice from the cockpit, especially with the race exhaust that I have on here. It sounds really nice when you're accelerating. At the same time, as I said, like, the steering wheel is extremely sharp. The shifter is very, very nice. It's got a very mechanical and tactile feel. So I think overall the MGB is a really nice driver's car. And again, like, the chassis is very stiff as well. The suspension is, when it's stock, it's pretty soft, so you do have a lot of body roll. But because the chassis is so stiff, it's got a lot of potential of being a much better driver's car when you do a few upgrades, when you do a few modifications to the car. And those can be pretty simple, like stiffer shock absorbers or polyurethane pushes, which I've done. And if you do that, the car drives like there's no tomorrow, basically, and it's really, really nice. And I think everyone, like all of my friends who think that MGBs are not the greatest cars, or who never really thought anything special of the MGB, when they drive this car, they love it so much that they're like, maybe an MGB is a very nice car after all. So I think the MGB deserves a bit more love, and yeah, there's a lot that you can do with these cars. That was expensive petrol. We are going to cheap petrol. I mean, no petrol is cheap these days, but we are going to the cheapest petrol. I mean, look at this, like 2.40 euros per liter. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so I'll be driving in front for a bit now. Let's put the route next to me. Lights on. It's a pretty nice evening, to be honest. I mean, the weather is absolutely beautiful. For the past few weeks, the weather hasn't been that good in Belgium here, but today it's absolutely fantastic. In Luxembourg. That's pretty cool. As I said, it's pretty much a cross-country road trip on just a nice evening. The things you do when you love cars. the car, which is quite a process with the MGB. So as you can see, we made it to Luxembourg. It was a pretty fun trip. We did some very nice roads. But before I leave you, I actually wanted to go over the Opel Corsa of Antoine really quickly. I think this car deserves its own video where Antoine really introduces us to the car and tells us what he's done to it, because it's a pretty cool machine with a lot of cool customizations. But let's do a quick walk around of the car and take a look at it. So apparently a lot of people seem to think that this car came like this as a factory spec. And I think that's props to Antoine for doing it so well.
I guess.
It's pretty nicely done. Like the, I think at the moment it's inspired by Mobil 1 or Fina liveries. And he still has to decide whether it's going to be a Fina liveried one or Mobil 1 liveried car. But everything like the vinyl straps and everything, he cut them himself, basically designed the entire livery. And the car is slowly but surely turning into a rally car, race car, kind of. So it's a pretty cool machine. And it also kind of shows how easy, fun and cheap automotive fun can be. I think these cars are going to be cheap everywhere. I mean, kind of cheap. And they are pretty cool. They are really, really fun. Probably a good driver's car. And as you can see, you can make something pretty cool out of them. And also, they have factory white wheel arches, which is always a plus. That's never a bad thing. So that was Antoine's Corsa, pretty nice car. It's getting pretty late now. We're tired because obviously it was just a work day. It's a Thursday evening. So I'm going to grab my keys and we're slowly going to head back home. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.